Hello, my friends. Death has a way of slipping into our lives quietly, doesn't it? It shapes us long before we have the language to name what it's doing. So I decided to stick with this death and dying subject for a little longer. Not because it's dark, but because it's honest. We all carry questions about endings. We want to understand what they mean and understand what they take from us. I think we also want to understand what they reveal. Um, for me, these questions have never seemed to be morbid. I honestly have never thought of these questions as morbid questions. They're just a source of curiosity, a way of understanding what survives loss. And wow, it makes me think even deeper about that expression, surviving loss, to survive loss. What a negative framework that is. Thinking about that. Loss is negative. Maybe what we're surviving is something not so much loss as, I don't know, understanding. It's deep. But it gets deeper. How we learn to live more fully in the shadow of this thing called death, I think it's just something we can't avoid. And that brings me back to the first time death felt real to me. That first time wasn't when my grandparents died. I was too young then. I couldn't really understand completely. I knew that they were dead, and from the way that Mom explained death to me as well as she could to a 4 or 5 year old, respectively. So yeah, I was too young to really feel the loss. The first time death truly entered my world was the summer that I was 10, summer when I was 10 years old. Um, yeah, that was the summer when lightning struck my fifth grade homeroom teacher. So I'm going to talk about that this evening, and I'm really excited to tell this story as well. It's a story that means something to me. So I'll be right back. So I can still see this. I was at my Uncle Andy's camp. They called it the Hemlock Lodge. And this was a place where summers would feel simple and safe. It was a great pleasure to be there. And I was lucky to, some summers it'd be 1 week, and other summers it would be as long as 2 weeks. But I was there, and I think I barely just arrived. And I saw my parents out of nowhere drive up to the driveway in their green Nova. I still remember that car so well. It was a green Nova. Kind of like I don't know the green color to describe here. It was, best way I could describe it is pine green, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, it turned into that gravel driveway, and they weren't supposed to be there. That was the thing. They weren't supposed to be there for days, and I remember standing there, confused, and just watching. I can feel all this still. Watching the dust settle behind the car, that crunch of stone under their tires. That was typical of these types of driveways. But I remember the look on their faces. And it was a strained, quiet look that adults get when they are holding difficult news. So my first thought wasn't fear. It was simply, why are they here? They're not due until the end of the week. And then my mother said the words that changed everything. Your teacher died. So I don't remember crying, and I don't remember asking questions. I actually think I might have been in shock. A little bit later, while the adults were in the other room, whispering and I guess talking about taking me home for the funeral, I walked with my cousins across this small wooden bridge behind the camp. It was one that led to where the deer feeders were in the woods. It was a beautiful, beautiful setting. But I was there with my three younger cousins, not much younger than me, and I blurted out, my teacher died. I probably just needed to hear those words outside my own head. So my one cousin, younger than me, turned and she said, we're not allowed to talk about those kinds of things. And that shocked me even more, really. In that moment, I believe something unsettled inside me. I wasn't sure how to hold that. And I guess that was just where I was mentally as a 10-year-old. I didn't know how to talk about it. But I also didn't know the rules. I didn't know that there really were rules. But I found that out that day as well. I think it was the first time maybe being made aware that grief, even grief has boundaries. Yeah. So something enormous happened. Something big. So who was this guy? His name was Dennis Matevy. And I'm going to call him Denny. But I knew him then as Mr. Matevy. He was young. He was probably a lot younger than most of the teachers at Holy Rosary Grade School. And there was something about him, something attentive. I guess that's the best description. He didn't just seem to manage the classroom as so many teachers do or did. He noticed things. And I think that's what ended up happening with me. He noticed me. I'm not saying he singled me out, but he noticed me. I was drawing dinosaurs, and not just doodling dinosaurs. I was actually drawing. I was doing the one thing that at 10 years of age I actually felt good at. I could have spent the whole day in school just drawing dinosaurs. If I could have, I would have. But he stopped by my desk and just stared. Not a polite, teacherly kind of stare, if that's a word, teacherly. But he was seeing me. He was seeing something about this dinosaur drawing that I was doing, that I was stopped right in the tracks of doing. Um, in those days, praise came mostly from my mother. And even that praise was tethered with oh, a kind of weight that she carried with her. So when this guy praised me, I mean, it landed. It landed. It felt like a light going on inside of my chest. So at some point, he even took my drawings to the principal, proud as he could be. And she barely looked at them. She barely looked at them. Yeah, this teacher asked me to bring in as many pictures of dinosaurs as I could, and I gladly obliged. And I kept bringing him one dinosaur after another dinosaur picture. And these drawings were sometimes done with pencil, other times with pen. I actually drew with pen a lot. And yeah, I made these very elaborate little booklets, instructional booklets about dinosaurs. It was all really, I had, again, I thought that was where my talent lied, and it did. So when he took those drawings, after he collected all of them, and he took them to Sister Agnes Clare, who was the school principal, she, he's showing her these and saying, "Look at this kid's drawings, aren't they great?" And she's like completely indifferent. she was indifferent. I don't know what would have made her impressed, because they were impressive. They really were. And they impressed him, you know? And so, yeah, I pretty much imagine if I had been drawing some other subject matter, she might have been approving more, spiritual pictures, something of that nature. But I remember his face falling a little bit when she just dismissed. And he was doing it like on behalf of me, so that I could notice that. That's powerful. That is some powerful stuff. That contrast stayed with me. I promised myself I wasn't going to get emotional doing this, but it could happen. And look, if it does, I just want to share with you that I'm just sharing with you what is alive in me. And if that brings forward some kind of emotion, I just think it just needs to be there. I don't plan to edit it out. Well, he kept seeing me all that school year, prior to this summer that I learned that news. He praised the drawings, of course, but he also praised my singing. I never thought I had a voice, but he had organized a youth choir, and he told me I had a great voice. I mean, no one had told me that. You know, at 10 years of age, that really meant something. It made me feel less alone in a way that I don't think I had words for. I had a sense of difference back then. I did carry a sense of different back then. I couldn't name it. And sometimes I actually wonder if he recognized that in me. Not as a label, mind you, but as a kind of, I don't know, shared sensitivity maybe? Gentleness? Maybe some way of moving through the world? At the end of the year, he gave the entire class this beautiful Irish blessing plaque. And then we received our report cards, our final report cards, and tucked inside my report card envelope was something else. It was a handwritten note, and it was just for me. But it was warm, and it was personal, and it was full of encouragement. It's really, really nice. And he signed it Peace, Denny. Peace, comma, Denny. Oh, and then at the bottom, he put P.S. Please write. I didn't really know how much those words would matter until many years later when I rediscovered that envelope with those words. I knew at that time it was a blessing. Yeah, it's a blessing. I don't know how else to describe it. It was kind of a permission to become who I already was. So what I know now, all these years later, is that death didn't come into my life that summer to frighten me. It just came to give me the experience, to widen the experience for me, the experience of life, which includes death. It was something, it opened something inside of me. It had been waiting for language to express it. It had to be a way to try to understand the world beyond what a 10-year-old could, I guess. What a 10-year-old could hold. Losing Denny didn't really teach me about endings. What was it? It taught me about continuity. Continuity. The way that someone's presence can keep shaping you long after they're gone. It's a single moment that can echo through your lifetime. A simple note, please write. And it becomes a kind of compass. And maybe that's the quiet gift, if you will, inside of every loss. Getting back to death as loss. I mean, it's not the pain or the absence, but just an invitation to notice what remains. The love that doesn't disappear. And there's that influence that just keeps unfolding. The way people's lives continue to touch ours long after their story changes form. You know, I think about that 10-year-old boy sometimes and standing on that wooden bridge, not knowing the rules of grief, not knowing how to talk about what he felt. And I want to tell him, you are not alone in this. You're being shaped. You're being opened. One day you'll understand. Yeah. Death doesn't close the story. It deepens it. I think death asks us to listen differently, and it invites us to love more consciously, for sure. Maybe to live with a little more softness toward not just ourselves, but one another. And maybe it reminds us that the people who see us, really see us, never truly leave. They stay with us in the way we speak, the way we create, the way we love, the way we make love, just the way we walk through the world with some more gentleness than we had before. Let me leave you with this. So, as you move through your own life, through your own losses and questions and quiet moments, I hope that you feel it too, the presence that remains and the guidance that still lingers. But I guess most important, the love that doesn't end. I'm hoping that you'll remember in your own way the words that were given to me. Please write. How did I see that? Please write was please live. Please keep becoming who you already are. Thank you for spending this time with me today, for sitting with this story, and maybe even remembering a few of your own. These moments, the ones that shape us quietly, the ones that stay with us long after the world has moved on, they deserve a little space. And I hope I've provided that space here today. Wherever you are right now, whatever you're carrying, I hope you feel a bit more connected. I hope you feel held. And, oh yeah, I hope you feel a little bit more aware of the ways that love continues, even through loss. We're all learning how to live with the people who shaped us, those who are still here and those who aren't. And as always, I thank you for listening, for being part of this little circle of curiosity and reflection. It means more than you know. I'll see you next time.